So, how do you work with clients when they come to you and they are in need of an SOP? Do they come to you saying, hey, we need an SOP? Or do you assess that they're lacking this and then help them? What's your process? What do you do?
It's the latter. It's the latter, right? Most people aren't going to be like, I know my solution is I don't have standards. Right? Or most of the time, the people will come to me because they have like a learning gap issue where like I've told this person this 20 times and they're still not doing it. Right? That's a learning gap issue. And that's because, well, how well is it documented? How much access do they have? How complex is it? And that will take me down the road of documenting what their process is. So one of the first things I like to do is use a tool called process mapping to map out, using a linear timeline, essentially, how they go from step one and whatever they're doing to final delivery and review or referral, whatever the end is. And that kind of gives me a clearer picture. And then I can start asking questions like, well, is this things that look like should be a checklist? They'll be like, does a physical checklist exist for this? Does a digital checklist exist for this? Something that's like a training or a potential roadblock. I'll be like, is it a roadblock? Is there physical training that occurs to teach someone to do this? When and how frequent? If there's approval roadblocks, I'll be like, well, does this approval need to happen? Yes or no? Why does this approval need to happen at this stage? Why not move it to here? And then you can cut out 2 or 3. So like, that's when we start kind of figuring out what they'll all need. And then we start building it out and be like, oh, well, hold on. Let's create a policy on this. This way we can enforce a standard, right? Cell phone use is a very common policy that a lot of companies have, but that's a standard operating procedure. We will operate like this. This is how we use our phones appropriately in our organization.
Gotcha.
That's all that is. That's all it is, right?
Okay. So we have the standard operating procedure and a policy to enforce the procedure. Did I misunderstand that?
No. Sometimes sometimes the policy can be your SOP. That's just one of those things that I don't know if HR professionals look at it that way, but from a operation standpoint, I look at them all as if they're how we want someone, what behaviors we want someone to do. That's it, you know? And that's where my approach is a little bit different than others, is because I'm looking at it from a human behavior standpoint.